Hey guys, welcome to Alive and Sober with Reno C. It is Friday, and today I'm sitting down with a lifelong buddy of mine. His name is Doug. We've known each other since we both got sent to military school when we were 14 years old and we were roommates. Somehow, we both ended up in recovery. This conversation is about relapse, okay? Not glorifying it, not excusing it, but telling the truth about it. We talk about imperfection and taking accountability, as well as what it really means to get back to work after you fall. Welcome to Alive and Sober with Reno C, where real life, recovery, and faith collide. Welcome to Alive and Sober with Reno C, where we talk about God and sobriety. I am here with my friend Doug, who has actually been a guest on the show before, and we're both going to sit like this because we're better than other people. The old leg cross making us look smarter than we are.
It's actually, I'm really scared. So like,
You're
this
nervous?
is like, yeah, this is kind of like my
Wiping
like
your hands
everything's
off?
real tight, and I'm like really secure right now.
We have glasses on, so we look like
I mean, we're smart.
we know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Which really we don't. We've been friends since I was 14 years old. We actually both got sent to military school together at that time. And oddly, after military school and a lot of years running amok, we both ended up in recovery.
Nobody saw that coming.
No,
Nah.
no, but it did. And today we're going to talk about basically for people who relapsed. It's like, I relapsed, now what? You know what I mean? Like so many of us, I did relapse. It's been quite a few years ago, but it was real easy to do. Mm-hmm. And I didn't have the foundation or tools to go back to understand exactly what it was I was doing. Yeah. So if we could talk a little bit about this. You have worked with people in recovery for how many years?
About 18 years.
18 years, yeah. So about the same age as the people who are working the cameras here today.
Thanks for bringing that to
Yeah,
light.
man, I just wanted to let you know how old you are.
I mean,
And you're actually, we both sit like this just to help our hip.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. What if the other leg goes to sleep? You know.
I'm 6 weeks away from a walk-in shower. I can feel, or bathtub, whatever those things are.
We built
sell.
ours so big that I can come back in and add the bench later, because I'm not doing the plastic like seaty thing. No, I'm going
I want the
tile
chair.
bench.
I want the chair that takes me upstairs too, so I don't have to walk, where I can just sit down and be like, work for me.
Yeah, I bought a ranch for
I'm gonna
that
sit
particular
just like
reason.
this.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah, just like this. So for people out there, and this happens a lot in recovery, unfortunately. Luckily, I got back in. I didn't stay out too long. But what are your thoughts, man? Like, what would you say to somebody if you had a sponsor or somebody call you and say, "Hey, man, I relapsed."
Yeah.
How do you get into that with them?
Yeah. So first of all, I'm a like college dropout. So I was really proud of the fact that my first PhD was in relapse.
Right.
From 2002 to 2007, as you know.
Yeah.
I cycled, stay dry, relapse. And so unfortunately, or fortunately in this case, I've got a lot of experience with that. And the first thing that I usually say to kind of like take the air out of the room is like, well, no kidding. You're an addict. Why don't you do something that would surprise me, and let's stay sober this time.
Yeah.
And so to really just kind of like let someone know right away that like that behavior is absolutely normal. That behavior is kind of like what happens. I mean, so for me, I drank primarily because I didn't like the way that I was feeling. And I knew that I could do something that would change that right away. And so the harder thing to do is to actually stay sober. So the relapse part makes a lot of sense. Now that's really dangerous to stay in these days, Reno, because the drugs that are out there on the streets, we don't know what's in them.
Right.
We are, I'm not going to pontificate here on the cycle of drugs. And
Tell us what pontificate means.
I don't know. It sounded good.
It did.
It sounded really good.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious has always been.
But seriously, it's a dangerous thing to say, and
Right.
I want to be really clear about that. Like, relapse does not have to be a part of someone's story. Today, it's a very dangerous proposition because one bad decision can really change your life, everyone's life around you, and complete strangers' lives forever. So I just want to be like really clear about that. And so, but to really build on some of that, Reno, is that I was very grateful for people early on that didn't judge me, that always had their open arms, that said, hey, you know what? You're not perfect. None of us are perfect. There's a place we can go.
Right.
There's a higher power. There's a God that we have that doesn't expect you to be perfect. And so the first thing for me to really answer that question when I find a friend that is in that situation is I try to let them know right away that it's perfectly normal and it's okay.
It is. It's kind of like it's a speed bump. It's not a. So it was so easy. What I did was I was sober for 90 days or whatever, and then I didn't have anything to look back at, and I just was like, I'm gonna throw it out in the. I'm out.
Yeah.
Like I already messed up. Why not just, I'm already back. I didn't work. I'm out. And it was such a natural thought of I failed. It's over. I might as well keep drinking. Mm-hmm. Right. And I know you were touching on, I think you were talking about fentanyl, is that nowadays,
Yeah.
A relapse, of cocaine or of pot. I mean, all kinds of things can have, everything can have fentanyl in it.
Yeah, no, it's really dangerous out there, and that is what I was talking about. And Reno, I think so. The first thing we have to do is that humanization of it is we have to make it like real and okay. That has to be balanced with this theory of unconditional love. And I think you and I've talked a little bit about unconditional love before. And unconditional love at the heart of it is about accountability. And it's okay that I did what I'm expected to do, which is take another drink or take another drug. But we've got to improve better. And the other thing that I usually try to do is that time's not wasted, right? And so we spend a lot of time in today's recovery world really trying to validate recovery around like how long it is. It has been since I've had a drink, or how long it's been since I had a drug. And while I subscribe to that, I also think it's a little false, because as much as my bad experiences taught me the things that I have learned and arguably helped form me for who I am today, so have my good experiences, right? And so if I make it 3 days, number one, I know I can do it. Number two, I learn a couple of things during those 3 days. And it doesn't matter, Reno, whether that's 30 days, 3 years, whatever. We don't lose that experience.
Right.
And so it's easy for me to say, oh, I failed, or I'm not good enough. Well, no, you made a bad decision. You didn't let all of that experience go. Let's build on that now.
Yeah.
And let's grow from that. And so that's that baseline of accountability, unconditional love. We can't shame you into a better life.
Right.
We can't. You can't sleep your way into a better life either. Like, you've got to do some work.
Right.
So that's generally like the way that the conversation starts out.
So normalizing, we're not normalizing relapsing, but normalizing the fact that that is part of your, can be, doesn't have to be, can be part of your recovery. And that, because what I found when that was been 9 years ago or whatever, but so not that long ago, a week ago, I was talking to somebody who I had taken for granted the fact that they were still sober when I called them. They took them a minute and they were like, hey man, I'm not, and I'm like, what? Yeah. And they're like, yeah, you know, I don't want my kids to find out. I don't want my spouse to find out. I'm hiding it from my parent to off to the races, right? I was like, that's, oh, I mean, I was crushed. I get off the phone and a thought popped in my head like, I wonder if I could get away with that. Right? Yeah. Now, here's the thing. Because of the tools I've learned in recovery, it was easy for me to kick that out of my head and be like, what are you talking about? Don't be a moron. But at the beginning of sobriety, I'd have thought at 9 years, I was fixed, man. You know?
Dude, I remember like when I was sitting there and it was like, if I could just get 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, man, I would
5 days.
This and, and I'd have a house again and you know, dog and 2.5 cats or
right.
you know, whatever. You know?
We don't recommend 2.5 cats.
Yeah, 3. Go for 3. Go for the full cat. But yeah, you know, and I want to in listening to you, thank you because it really kind of helped me in real time be able to articulate exactly what I want to normalize. I want to normalize imperfection. We are imperfect in God's world. We are imperfect. And that's what we're normalizing. We are not normalizing a drink.
Right.
We are not normalizing a drug. We are not normalizing that decision. What we are normalizing is that we are imperfect. Because if we don't do that from the beginning, we're not going to be comfortable at 5 years, 10 years, 15 years when we are still imperfect.
Right.
But not have had a drink or a drug in that amount of time. Does that make
100%?
Yeah. Okay.
And there is like a lot of you know, I always thought that my problem was alcohol. Yeah. And it wasn't.
No.
It wasn't drug. It wasn't it was me.
Yeah.
It was there's a reason why I had to do it. And as I dug out, you know, going through, I'm a step guy, you're a step guy.
Sure.
As I went through them, it released things in me almost naturally, almost spiritual, like things, I don't know, things changed on their own by me doing the work, right? Like by me gutting myself and pulling everything out. Like, here, you did this and I did this stuff that I was cramming down as hard as I could with food and
That's
food.
right.
Like, you know, I'm not dealing with that. I'd pray like that. Like, God, I never would say I want to stop drinking because I'm like, what if he takes that from me? I would when I was really drunk or hungover, you know, whatever. Mm-hmm. That kind of, hey, you know, God, I don't want to feel like this. Take this, whatever. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't willing to do anything. I wasn't willing to put any effort in. I would, you know, just zap me in the head with a lightning bolt and get this out and whatever. But I wouldn't pray for things. I wouldn't acknowledge things I'd done wrong. Everything was everybody else's fault. So when I relapsed early on, I didn't have all that, right? I didn't have the tools that I learned along the way. I didn't have the thought of, well, maybe you have some things you need to deal with, you know, like within an amends or within something you haven't been able to face, or you're scared of this. Fear was a big thing for me. Like, and I wasn't able to be honest. I was lying about, you know, how much I drank and what I did. I was lying. It is anything to get to for where I wanted to be. Yeah. Right. But as I learned to be more easy to forgive, be more easy to ask for forgiveness, those things released a lot of the tension and anxiety that I had. That I think if I'd had, when I relapsed the first time, I would have been able to go, well, wait, there's a way to fix this. There's a way to work on this. There's a way, because all I had done was sit in meetings and listen and white knuckle and, you know, whatever. So it kind of gave me, now I know people also who have been sober for 20 years and relapse, right? And so it's, the claws are deep, you know, the addiction, you have to maintain your sobriety, right? And I think work and service and working on yourself and things like that do it, and a constant contact with God, that if my first thought can be go to God. Now, you can do all that and still relapse, right? And my initial reaction is a pep talk for somebody who had relapsed. But in listening to you, and you know a lot more about this than me, instead of a pep talk, that's almost defeating the whole recovery. Like it's got to stay honest and open, like you were saying, and normalize the fact that you're jacked up so that you can move on.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's always just get to a meeting today, and it's like, okay, but I relapsed, and that wasn't my thing, and I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I'm in a convoluted, stupid way that I'm trying to put this together.
Well, no, I mean, you've nailed it. You've nailed it right on the head. And it is about the work, Reno. And for me anyway, that was my experience, and that's the only thing that I can give away, and I will never forget. So so those of, you know, the folks that have listened to us talk to each other about this before, so I'll never forget, you know, I was living in that homeless shelter that had a recovery, an addiction recovery program, and very early on, they made you walk about 2.5 miles across the, you know, downtown to an off-site education center. And I mentioned, you know, from 2002, 2007, I just relapse after relapse. And my sponsor, like, I had no idea he even knew where I was or what I was doing. And like, I walk up, and oddly enough, it was a Presbyterian church, and sitting on the steps going down into the basement.
Which is where we are right now.
Which is kind of where we are. Sorry, but that's why I'm like having like this moment. But he was sitting on these stairs, and he had this sardonic smile on his face. You know, that one you want to smack off,
right,
dude? Like, and he was just like, and I was like, man. And I sat down next to him, and I looked at him, and I was like, Terry, man, I don't know how to live. I don't know how to live drunk or sober. And I was like, will you help me? And he looked at me, and he said, of course I will. He said, Doug, I've never stopped helping you. You just stopped helping yourself. And that was like my very first message of like, I have to work at this.
Right.
Like, it isn't a prayer, and it's just magically taken away from me. That was, for some, I've seen it happen. That is not my
experience either.
And so, so again, so now I've relapsed. What? It's time to get to work. Part of the normalizing the imperfection is to move past it as quickly as possible, because we can't stay stuck in shame. We can't stay stuck in guilt. I mean, I can't possibly imagine at 18 years in some of the 12-step rooms that I float around in with some of the things that my ego has done, like walking into a room and saying like, oh, I have one day sober. Like, just the guilt and shame and remorse behind that. Like, it's funny because I did it for 5 years in a row.
Right.
So once we get past that, it's time to get to work. And that's what you were talking about. And, and so what does that work look like? You know, is the thing that we've got to be really pointed about. We've got to work really hard on. Already said, all right, we've got this experience. We already have all of this knowledge. We know, look, man, I work with a lot of folks that never take a drink or a drug, but are 5, 6, 10 years sober and come to me and like, I'm just not okay. Something's missing, whatever. It's like, all right, well, what do you tell me about your day? How do you start your day? How do you go throughout your day? How do you end your day? What are we doing each day? My mentor, sponsor, if you will, calls it the drill. Are you doing the drill? Are you doing the drill? And so for me, when we relapse, it's just about, okay, let's get to work now. Let's do those things you were talking about, like that inventory, that stuff we don't want to look at.
Right.
Do we want to go out and clean up some of the wreckage that we've had? Those are the two like mountains if you will, that we have to climb.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. It's not.
What's an example of a drill like that you would? Because mine is all over the place.
Sure.
Like I go, going to a meeting is my go-to first thing in the morning. Like, and then the gym.
Okay.
And then think about what was going on in the meeting. And that kind of will set me at least off the right. Like there's this prayer of, God, get in my head before I do, that type of thing. But if someone has relapsed and is thrown, man, because you're in a tailspin. It's the thoughts and the concentration and anxiety and defeat and beating the heck out of yourself, that's what I did. It was just, you suck, man. Like you can't even do the thing and you're a failure and you've got a family and you're still the ego and the stuff that I didn't address.
Oh, you mean selfish?
Selfish, 100% selfish.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there's a drill as far as, for some reason, when I stopped drinking, I had more energy and still do than I did 20 years ago. And if I don't go to the gym, I will slam my head through drywall. Like I'm like,
like gym's mental health for me.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
it just knocks the edge off. 100%,
yeah.
I know I look like I'm having a stroke after a half an hour on the elliptical, but I'm like, I don't care. I used to make fun of people like me, and I don't care. You can laugh all you want. I'm still listening to Skinner. And you don't know. I'm going to get a Camaro and I don't know what I'm thinking about. But that has to be part. I have these dreams.
Better be an IROC,
dude. It's got to be an IROC. I would forget it and get the T-tops like Andy's was, and just or like Spicoli was wrecked and Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah.
Like that old school anyway.
Awesome.
But I can fix it. You can't fix this car, Spicoli. Yeah. I can fix it.
What's he gonna do?
I thought they just flew him in for games. Like I thought, dude, just see what I mean? Our brains are cooked. But like the gym and the repetition, almost like when we were in military school, like I gotta have the time, 9:30 to 10:30, 8:30 to 9:30, I'm drinking coffee, wandering around the house like a lunatic. 9:30 to 10:30, meeting. They go right to the gym for an hour. And it takes me till noon to get my day started. A lot of people can't do that. They don't have the time. I work at night, so I can do whatever I want throughout the day. So I'm just trying to think of examples of drills, because if somebody's watching this, they relapse and they're going, what am I supposed to do? You probably know what you're supposed to do. You probably know this stuff, but maybe hearing it will trigger some thoughts and get you headed on the right way.
Sure. So what I really want to say, first of all, is I want to draw a difference between a routine and a drill.
Oh, okay. I was talking routine.
So routines are great, and man, I love my routines. My wife teases me because I have this recliner that's in my basement. I actually pulled it out of an alley. It was in my first apartment when I got sober 19 years ago. And like she's just like, are you ever going to get rid of that? Well, I mean, it's super comfortable, but it also grounds me. And so I love, like I'll wake up an hour before I think anybody else is going to be up, just so I can sit there with my coffee, do my prayer and meditate. See, that's a routine. That's that.
Right.
The drill is not doing my routine, what makes me comfortable, what I enjoy, all of those kinds of things. The drill is the things that I must do to remove myself. Reno, every morning when I wake up, my alarm is set to the exact same station. WIFM, what's in it for me? Every day.
Yeah.
And so the first thing I got to do is I got to get myself out of the center of my life. That's the first thing I have to do. And so that's where that drill starts. Is first thing in the morning is trying to figure out, looking at my day, what do I have to do to be responsible, to do the responsible things, take care of my family, myself, whatever, right? But more importantly, like, where am I going to be of service? What's bothering me right now? is that really true? Is it self-centered fear, as you were talking about? Are those things? So I've got to set my day out correctly. So that's where the drill starts. That's uncomfortable.
Right.
That's not that first hour of coffee, in my busted lazy boy sitting in the dark with my dog next to me, just loving on him.
Right.
Like, that's comfort. The other stuff, the drill, is not comfort. The drill is about doing those things that I have to take care of myself. So then that's followed by prayer. All right. That's when I bring in God and put God front and center in my life and in my day and in my practicality. And then I set that intentionality throughout the day. Guess what? That usually for me lasts about 30 seconds.
Right.
When I'll get up out of that chair. And then so therefore the rest of the day, I have to pause when I catch myself getting off track.
Right.
So something will happen. She says this, the wife is running her mouth, whatever, dude.
Right.
And it's like, I'm ready to go, 0 to 100.
By the way, I love when my wife runs her mouth.
Yeah. But so I'm ready to go 0 to 100 at any moment.
Right.
And so, so I've got to kind of look at that. So the drill is talking to someone else that has the same, challenges that I have. Who knows where I'm going to be of service to them. And it really kind of reminds me of who I am each and every day. Definitely going to meetings. That's an important thing for me to do. The real prescription that I was given early on after a relapse is whatever you did, at the height of your sobriety, whether that was your prayer, how many number of meetings you were going to in a day, those kinds of things. If you're reading a big book or the Bible or whatever your routine was, do twice that. Do 2 times that. That's a basic prescription for a relapse. But those are drill things, right? And so I'm taking inventory throughout the day. I'm pausing, being purposeful. I'm trying to see where I can be of service. And service is a funny thing. I have to have a certain amount of prescribed towards helping someone that is just like me, because it reminds me of who I am. Dude. It's very fulfilling. It's all of those things. But service is also like, just hold the door open for somebody. Like, do something that I can be internally proud of. Because here I am at the lowest point in my life, doing what I do, pulling the house down on me yet again.
Right.
But it's those little bitty things that I've got to do to start, inching that forward. And so, and then of course, when the day ends, I have to look back and I have to say, okay, how did the day go?
Yeah.
What did I do right? What did I do wrong? What can I improve on tomorrow? Is there anything that I did that I need to set straight right now? Nothing will make you act right,
Right.
tomorrow. Like cleaning something up that you did that day. Like, hey man, I probably shouldn't have called you that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or God forbid for me, like, because I've got to be right all the time. And like, God forbid me, like, have to call my boss and be like, yeah, about that,
Yeah.
like nothing will keep me from doing that tomorrow, quite like cleaning that up.
Yeah.
And so that's the drill. That's the absolute drill. And the drill is God-centered, not Doug-centered.
Right.
It's just that simple. And so the drill is, what do I do to keep Doug out of the middle of the picture and put God and his will in the center of the picture?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I love that. And it's so true.
Yeah.
It's I still have like a coach mentality. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I still, like, somebody comes in and they relapse or whatever, and they're like,
Well, flip the ring around and
yeah, like, what is wrong? You run a lap,
that never happened.
No.
Wait.
No. But there's so much more to it than that. And like it's daunting. It was to me before, especially when I wanted to keep doing what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
It was daunting to think about. It sounds like it's so much work and it's so much, and I don't have time for this. And how busy I am. What we're talking about is probably 20 minutes out of your day. And the rest of the time,
Yeah.
I mean, I get mad about stuff that probably didn't even happen. You know, I can be set off because I'll lose that grounded feeling of God's in control anyway. It doesn't matter what I do. I can make my day as difficult or easy as I want to, but setting yourself in a mindset. I also found that when I look back at mine, it was who I was hanging out with. Like how you know, you kind of sometimes get in that like, I'll dip my toe in the water and see what these guys are like, and you know, or friends you haven't seen in a long time. That was something that I had to go, I love you, but I can't hang out with you guys anymore.
Yeah.
I love you, but I can't hang out with you. And sometimes when people relapse, it's so easy, especially if you're not concentrating on it daily, I mean, let's face it, as drunks and drug addicts, we're very easily, hey, there's something shiny over here. What is it? What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
What's going on in there? You know, and then you, especially I would get that thing like, well, I've been sober. I got this, you know, at 2 years. I've been sober for 2 years. No, I can't. I already proved that for so many years that I can't.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? But you can't stop those thoughts. So what would you say to somebody if they're having thoughts of like, I got this, man?
Sure.
You know?
Don't believe the lie.
Because we lie to ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't believe the lie. You know, I'll talk myself into any kind of thing to change the way that I'm feeling. And I can do that without ever even taking a drink or a drug. Like I'll convince myself something is true that isn't. I'll convince myself that something is a certain way just so that I can live in this nice, warm little bubble of I'm right, everybody else is wrong, and I can do this or what. And so the first thing really is don't believe the lie, is what I say to someone. Man, I'll never forget, Reno, the first time when I finally did get sober and like had that spiritual experience. I get like these little moments. I call them God bones.
Yeah.
You know, like
God bones, God winks. Yeah.
Yeah, God just throws me a bone for a little while and I get to chew on it, you know, and I'm like really happy. It's really good when it's fresh and juicy. And then when it's all like tired, you know, and it's just kind of like a little nub, you're like looking for the next bone and suddenly, and they don't come when you want them and all that. Anyway,
that makes perfect sense.
Where did I go?
I don't know, but I like it.
But anyway, so no, I think honestly, the important thing there is for me is that I remember that spiritual experience. I won't necessarily describe the whole thing. It's a pretty long story, but I'll never forget when I had like this I was a brown liquor person, and I just had like, I was in a position where I had like this waft of brown liquor smell that just came all over me. And I was like, whoa, and like that euphoric recall like kicked right in, and I was like, whoa. Another time it happened was at like you've ever been through like those buffets, you know, where at the end of the buffet right by the register is like the beer and the ice with the sweat dripping down, you know, and you're like, man, yeah, I mean, just one, right? You know, and so like normally I have to play my tape through, like, well, you could drink that beer, you know, and then you know, and then you're going to get 6 more, and then you're going to go get a half pint,
right?
And then you're going to sell your truck,
right?
is what you're going to do.
Wake up missing shoes.
Like that's playing the tape forward, right? But I'll never forget when I finally had that sufficient spiritual experience when that hit me, and I was like, "Whoa, I don't want to change the way I feel."
Yeah,
bro, you want to talk about liberating? Like, I don't want to change the way I feel.
Yeah.
And it was because I had been through enough pain. I had been through enough redemption and glory and grace and all of those things that God gives to us so freely.
Right.
That I was like, you know what? I just don't want to change any of it. Now, you know what I've been through personally here recently with, you know, my ex-wife passing away and supporting my daughter through all of that. And I wouldn't change any of that, Reno. Like, of course, I wish that she had
of
passed.
Course,
but,
yeah.
But dude, I remember being down there in Florida with her and her family and just sitting there. And like normally I'd be sitting there like full of guilt, right? Like, oh, I failed in the marriage, and oh, if I would have been a better person, and oh, and this, but none of that. Yeah, a lot of that was true, but I also know who I am today, and I also know what I'm doing today, and I wouldn't have traded that experience, those feelings, for anything.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's the thing, is just don't believe the lie. Walk through whatever it is, because that's what it takes.
Right.
That's what it takes. It's not easy. Because hitting the easy button, I'm a pro at that. Remember, I told you I have a PhD in that.
Right.
Hitting that easy button. So, that's kind of my response to that.
Yeah.
Don't believe that lie.
And we do. We lie and justify and twist things and tweak things, and it I don't want to say it's easy to come off the rails, but it kind of is.
Oh, it's simple.
Like, I mean, it can be the slight, like a beer, something stupid. I'm lucky because I don't crave a beer. Like, I crave a case of beer. Like, if something pops in my head, I'm kind of like, I know we're the same in this. Like, people go, aren't you going to miss having a glass of wine? I'm like, I'd miss having 3 bottles of wine. Like, I'm not, that wasn't, but Robert Downey Jr.
I miss taking my shirt off and hanging out the side of the car, screaming at people going down the road.
Losing your wallet.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I miss. Like, again, don't believe the lie.
That's right. Don't believe the lie. Robert Downey Jr. said in an interview, somebody asked him, don't you miss having a glass of wine at dinner? And he said, yeah, but I have plans for Christmas. And this was in July.
Yeah.
And I thought that wrapped it up. Like, it was like, that's so true, man.
I mean, isn't it?
And it was so easy to forget the train we were on. But the other thing is when people listen to this and go, that sounds like so much, I have to get up and pray. But hold on, let me say this. How much effort did you put into getting your drug or alcohol? It took a lot more work to do what we were doing than it does. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't, that encompassed my thoughts, whether I wanted them there or not, the entire day. This is something, and you mentioned service. And as soon as I got back into, I got to the point where, I'm not a reader. Like, I like to listen.
Don't say.
I don't. Have you seen the Shack movie? The book's
I've read
bad.
the book.
The book's better. That's the only book I can say that about. Any other book on the planet, I can't say the book's better
I've read
than
the book. I have not seen the movie, but I've read the book.
You're good with the book.
Yeah. In fact, that was like the first thing that ever helped me to really internalize the Trinity.
Dude, it changed here's the problem, is at first, I thought it was real. I thought it really happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is amazing, man. This guy in the thing. And then I see the movie and I'm like, that guy that Tim McGraw played. And people are like, this isn't like, this is a book that was written. It's some guy who was like writing it as a gift to his kids on a subway or something. And I'm like, no. But
see, I didn't know that. And I wish you'd have kept that to yourself, by the way, because I'm over here like, anyway.
I forgot what I was talking about, but I have to listen. I have to listen to things.
Yeah.
And kind of, dude, I totally spaced what we were talking about.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
You guys remember what we were talking about? Nobody?
Yeah, just make it up.
Yeah.
That's what we do anyway.
In conclusion, but it seems like so much work and it seems like so much you have to do. But the things that I would do when I was in the throes of it, it was so much more effort and thought process. It sucked up every bit of my consciousness, my soul, my mind. It was so much work. And I remember people saying, like, you got to put the same amount of effort into being sober as you did into being drunk. So how much effort did you put in? And I was like, I can't put that much effort into something else.
Anything.
Yeah.
Not gonna.
Nothing.
Not
and
gonna.
not even just the minute thoughts and the little trigger things and the stuff. So for me, listening works better, right? Or listening, like I'll listen to something, a book on tape or whatever, or download it and listen to someone else read it to me. But the Bible is something that has helped me, and I haven't relapsed in 9 years, but has helped me stay focused. Most of all, because I'm so intrigued how jacked up everybody was. And I talk about this all the time, but like, I'm so intrigued that like these people that were actually the best people that followed Jesus the right way were so messed up. And I'm like, well, I could be that guy.
Well, that's me.
That sounds a lot more like me.
Hey.
I thought everybody was these perfect things,
yeah.
and there was only one that was, and the rest of them are really jacked up. Like, and that makes me like, oh, I gotta want to learn more about. Like, I want to hear what the story. I want
You
to.
mean it's okay to be imperfect, right?
I'm saying that's exactly right, and we're going
when I'm
full
right.
circle.
I love when I'm right.
It's
with
very
you, dude.
seldom, but you were right today only because I led you into that. That's called gaslighting. My wife told me all about it.
Okay.
Because I'll bring you back and I make you feel silly at the end of it when it actually.
Is that how this happens?
I think so. She said that I say things to people, and by the end of the time I'm done talking, they feel like whatever I did, they did, and then it makes them feel like they're crazy. I don't know if that's true. My kid's sitting over there.
That's just way.
You guys are young. Is that what gaslighting is?
That's way too much to think about.
Yeah.
That's way
and
too much to
apparently,
think about.
I'm unbelievably good at it, and I didn't even know I had the talent.
Wow, you've got a skill.
When you wake up
That's
and
a
you
skill,
realize
dude.
it's a gift, apparently. I didn't even know what the word meant.
I
But
bet you don't even know what you're talking about now. Dude.
I don't.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't.
yeah.
I don't know why I have a podcast, to be honest with you. Except for this is the only thing I know anything about.
Yeah.
You know, it's this and like 1980s baseball players, and that's really not that interesting anymore.
It's really not.
But so we were talking about the relapse and the drill, and we kind of went through what you can do, you know,
Yeah.
getting yourself back on. I have just found that being relatable to people in recovery,
Yeah.
because if you have relapsed, you know there's a place you can go where there's a whole lot of other people that know exactly what you're talking about. The dangers of it we covered because it can freaking kill you. And
yeah.
we joke and laugh and stuff, but a lot of times I laugh about this stuff so I don't cry about it. It's like,
Yeah.
it's really, I can goof off all I want, but when I'm alone with God, I'm not trying to be funny and joke about this because it's killing people. And it's killing people. And it's so serious in the sense of, you know, life and death. You get a shot. That's it. You get one game to play, and at the end of the game, that's it. How do you want to finish your fourth quarter, right? So I think in what you were saying about the drill, the normalization of the fact that you're jacked up anyway, and it's, you know, take it on the chin, be thankful your eyes still open the next morning.
That's right.
And get back on the horse and go after it.
Yeah.
And don't let much time come in between that, because I did, and it was another couple years
Yeah.
of mess that I caused that was unnecessary. So I think just wrapping it up, is there anything you'd like to say to somebody if they have relapsed and are watching this, trying to kind of, you know, I know that's some pressure throwing it on you like that, but
Yeah. Yeah. Welcome to the club. It's okay. It's what we do. We got to get busy though, because I'll stay stuck in self-pity and fear. What I will say, Reno, is that faith is hard. And what you were just saying is that I put faith in brown liquor and things that I could smoke for a very, very long time. I knew they would work. But putting that faith in something that I can't touch, taste, feel, or smell is a very, very scary proposition. And those that are successful, those that get the true peace and freedom, are the ones that depend on God to have the courage to walk through that very scary time. And I would say that it gets better. It gets easier. And it really is the sunny side of life.
it is, dude.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
It is. And I think you're talking about surrender.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surrender and doing the work.
Surrender.
And getting back
do
on
the
there
work.
as soon as you can.
Can't see the end point, but just having faith that if I do this thing next, it will get better. And it does.
I love you, dude.
I love you too, bro.
And we'll hang around to do another one.
Absolutely.
I got you here, man, all the way from Kentucky, so I'm going to keep you as long as I can.
Yeah, the pay's good.
The pay's The pay is zero. It's zero. But you know what? God's free.
Dude,
Recovery can be free. You know what I mean?
No,
I'll take you out for a sandwich or
you
something.
You can't pay for this.
No, you can't.
You can't.
You can't buy it either.
No, you can't.
And it doesn't matter where you come from, if you're rich, if you're poor, if you're black or you're white or you're whatever that society puts on you. This is undefeated. It will take anybody down.
It does.
Yeah. So as you just heard, relapse doesn't mean that you've fallen forever. It means it's time to get honest and to get humble and get moving. Doug's story reminds us that God never stopped helping. We're the ones who stopped helping ourselves. If you're still breathing, it ain't over. And if nobody told you they love you today, guess what? I do. Get out there and kick today's. I'm losing it, boys.